Hi and welcome to BooksBeautyKendra. I'm Kendra and today I wanted to do like a 5-star prediction video. So I've got 10 books, 5 fantasy, 5 romance, and I am hoping that they are all 5 stars. It's kind of tricky to predict 5-star books for me because I don't know what it is that I like. Like, there's no particular tropes that I'm like, oh yes, you have that, that's a 5-star. But like, if it's a sequel or prequel, then it's got more of a chance of being a 5-star. So I've got a couple of those in here. But yeah, without much further ado, let's get on with it. Starting with fantasy books. The first one is a prequel to one of my favourite books. Not last year, but the year before, I think. And that's Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. Oh, it's kind of textured. I am very excited for this book. Like I said, it's the prequel. It's the prequel book to Legends and Lattes. Legends and Lattes follows Viv the Orc. This one follows Viv the Orc as well, but this is obviously before Legends and Lattes takes place. Bookshops and Bone Dust, I believe, is when Viv just starts out with her whole, like, barbarian mercenary. She wants to become part of this mercenary company, and it's her start of that journey. And then she gets injured very early on and has to spend her time in, like, this small town. And I think it should be fun. It's cozy fantasy. I love, Legends and Lattes. But yeah, next one. The next one is a bit of a gamble because I'm not sure, and it's not the first in a series, nor have I read anything by this person before. But I think I'm gonna love it, and I just need to bite the bullet and do it. I just need to read it. That's Jade City by Fonda Lee. I've heard so many good things about this series. I really, really should get to it. This is in a world where Jade is this like magic stone, like super magic stone, and it provides people who wear the jade special powers. I think as long as they're in like these two families, or maybe the two families just control the jade, and then they kind of like sprinkle it further out within this city of Janloon. Yeah, so a stone that enhances a warrior's natural strength and speed. And I'm pretty sure it goes over like a few years, so I'm not entirely sure what the precise plot is of this, but I'm excited because it sounds like an interesting concept. Another risk in this one, but I think I'm going to really like it, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be here. And that is Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler. This, I read the first like 1 or 2 chapters. No, I read the prologue, that's right. I read the prologue. And it seems not like humorous, but like it's got that funny edge to it. And I think, yeah, it'll be a good time. This follows a brother and a sister, I believe, and the sister is taken at a young age because she's believed to be too sick and she needs help. So the brother, it kind of rebels against it, and the sister kind of goes with it. So they become opposite sides of this war, I think. Yeah. So she is the Twilight Order's brightest prodigy. He is a thief, bandit, and revolutionary. Together, the siblings will discover that not even the ties of blood will keep them from splitting the world in two. I think this will be a good fantasy, like a really good fantasy, and it's nice. Not too long, but it's long enough. It should be a good time. This one is a sequel. It's the last book in a series. Yes, it's been 4 years since I've read the second book in this series. But we're not going to talk about that. Because this author's really good at giving you, like, the story so far in their books. And that is Holy Sister by Mark Lawrence. This follows Nona Grey. I'm just going to tell you about what happens in Red Sister, as much as I am able to remember. Red Sister is the first book in the series, in the Mark of the Ancestors. I don't know. Book of the Ancestors trilogy. There we go. So close. And Red Sister follows Nona Grey. Well, they all follow Nona Grey, this series. And she is an orphan turned student at this, like, it's not called a nunnery in this world, but it's like where people learn to become different types of nuns, but these are special types of nuns in this fantasy world where some are like fighters, some are healers, some are like can do some special stuff with the spirits. And I'm really excited to finally finish this series. It's been so long since I went to it. But like I said, Mark Lawrence is really good at giving the story so far. You see? And yeah, I gave the first book a 4 or a 4.5 and the second book 5 stars. So that's why I've got high hopes for that one. Next is a more recent release, and it is the first in a series, but it's the fourth book in this world, and that is Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. It's a big, tall, kind of thick book, and this is taking place after the events of the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. You can't see it anyways, even if I point it to where it is exactly. It's like, there behind all the photos. And yeah, so I'm not going to tell you what this one's about because that'll be a massive spoiler for you know, the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy, and you should really read that because I gave those like 4.5 and 5 stars. They are some of my favorite books. It's one of my favorite series of all time, and I can't believe I haven't read this one yet. So yeah, now we'll move on to romance, and I've got 2 books on here that I haven't hauled yet, so sneak peek for whenever that is filmed, because I don't have enough books to film another haul yet, which is good because I just filmed a haul. Anyways, first book is probably the biggest risk on the romance side of this, because I have read 2 books by this author. One was a 4-star, one was a low 3-star, maybe even a 2-star, and that is A Funny Story by Emily Henry. Ugh, this one's lame. And this is a kind of complicated setup with Daphne, Peter, Petra, and Miles. So it's not like polyamorous in any way. Daphne is engaged to Peter. Peter is best friends with Petra. Petra is dating Miles. Right? Those are the 4 key players in this synopsis. Anyways, on these 2's bachelor parties, Peter on his bachelor party is like, gets very drunk, realizes he's making a mistake. He actually is in love with Petra, his childhood best friend. And it's like, I am going to marry Petra instead, so you can go away. So these two are planning their wedding. These two are like, okay, well, what do we do now? And they move in together, and it's kind of like their romance, I guess. Obviously, because it's a romance book, but yeah. That's a funny story. Next, I've not read anything by this author, but I've heard so many good things about it, and it seems really dark, really kind of emotional as well. And I think there's trigger warnings for like sexual assault and all that. Does it say on here? Yeah. It's a Serpentine Valentine by Gianna Darling. It's a Medusa retelling. Yeah, there's a rape, but you can skip it. There's an assault that's referred to after that, but not graphically. Yeah. So if you're got like anything with sexual assault in your past, or you're just sensitive to that, which I very much understand, maybe skip this book. But it is a dark romance following Lex, who is sexually assaulted by a professor she really trusts, and he then gets everyone to turn against her, basically. And it's her revenge story and her romance with the dean of the school's daughter? President, daughter, Luna. And yeah, it's basically their dark romance in her revenge story. But yeah, like I said, heavy trigger warnings for this. Another one with trigger warnings, and a sequel to probably my favorite book so far this year. I put it as my favorite book. It might not still be my favorite book, but we'll see. We'll see. And that is Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. This is the sequel to Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh, and it follows Johnny and Shannon, and it's very dark and emotional because like there's domestic abuse, there's like I think there's some stuff with drugs in here as well, or maybe that's just Joey's story. Yeah, anyways, main trigger is the domestic abuse, especially in Binding 13. I don't know so much if it's in here as much, but this follows, yeah, like I said, Johnny and Shannon. Johnny is like this up and coming rugby star in Ireland, and Shannon is his new classmate who is a few years younger than him, and it's their romance, and it's so sweet. Their romance is so sweet. Everything else is so emotional, and that just makes the romance so much sweeter. And I really loved the first book, and I can't believe I haven't gotten to the second book despite it being so long. I think this might be the longest book on this video. Anywhoozles, next, the next two books, so the final two books, are ones I have not hauled yet, but I still think they're going to be 5 stars just based on previous experience with the authors. The first one is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Do I really know what this is about? No, but it's Ali Hazelwood. Everything I've given Ali Hazelwood has been 4.5 stars and above. That's good enough reason for me to give this. Like, I think my lowest rated was, or the least enjoyed one was Bride, and that was still 4.5 stars. So high hopes for this one, even though I don't really know what it's about. But I think it's another kind of feminist one, but not like, it's like slightly different. And I'm so excited for Deep End, or like Wet, or whatever she used to call it. I'm so excited for that one too. It's like a swimmer's romance. Yes. And then the final book I have on this 5-star anticipated, this anticipated 5-star reads video is Forbidden Game by Madison Fox. This follows Good Game, which is the first in a series, in the series. And that the Good Game follows Stevie and Alexander, or Blade. This follows Sydney, who is their, it's a game. It's a game, Masked Gamers series. And look how cute they are. And it follows Sydney, who is their publicist, I think. She does like the publicity side and make sure the guys are like in line, not making too much of a hassle for her. And then it also follows I combined his first and last name. Parker Covington. Sydney Lake and Parker Covington, who goes by English on the streamer things. I don't know. I don't watch gaming stuff that often. Like sometimes the cozy games I'll watch. But like, I don't know. Rambling now. Anyways, they are the 10 books that I really hope are 5 stars for me. Who knows if they will or not, because a lot of these are risks. Because either I've never read them before, or they're not the first in a series. They are the first in a series, and I don't tend to like them as much as like second installments and third installments. So yeah, basically 2 are almost guaranteed to be 5 stars, and the rest are like big risks. But oh, now I've jinxed it. Knock on wood. I haven't jinxed it. Anyways, if you made it this far into the video, let me know, if you're a reader, what your last 5-star was. Like, what was your favourite last book that you read? Because I would like to know. See if I have read it before, or if I should read it in the future. Anyways, if you don't want to comment that, comment a cherry for Forbidden Game. Like a cherry emoji. And if you've made it this far into the video, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, all that jazz. And I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye!